Hello, my name is Ayla Kuguna, the facilitator for the course LIS 212, Indigenous Knowledge Management. For today, we are going to take a look at the sources of Indigenous knowledge and also causes of Indigenous knowledge management based destruction. I hope you do enjoy the class.
Today's lesson would be on the sources of indigenous knowledge and causes of indigenous knowledge-based destruction. My name is Ayla Kuguna, your facilitator for this course, Indigenous Knowledge Management, LIS 212. At the end of this class, we should be able to list and explain the sources of indigenous knowledge, identify the causes of destruction of our indigenous knowledge. But first, please let us attempt the first class activity for today. For indigenous knowledge, its primary source is from our elders. Remember, they are the ones that pass the knowledge to the younger ones, or should we say the next generation. Though we have other sources of indigenous knowledge, can you be able to list some sources of indigenous knowledge that you are aware of? Okay. Let's start with the first source of indigenous knowledge, apart from it being passed from our elders to the younger generation. The first source of indigenous knowledge is life experience. There goes the popular saying, experience is the best teacher. One of the most primitive and primary source of knowledge for human beings are their life experiences. These experiences gained during the course of life accumulate into a body of language, which helps individuals to cope with any challenges that comes their way. These challenges could be health challenges, agricultural challenges, biodiversity challenges. There are too numerous to mention. Then the next source of indigenous knowledge is authority. Seeking or trying to get knowledge from authorities or from authorized person is a common practice. In life, when faced with a new challenge or a situation, you seek solution or answers from established authorities, isn't it? Like our parents, they are an authority, guidance, teachers, even our older siblings and friends. They are all authorities in their own aspect. No man is an island. The role of authority, based on their own experience, is to guide or advise. Though one can decide not to accept their advice or their guidance because of its lack of validation or authentication from other sources. Then the next source of indigenous knowledge is the social customs and traditions. Our customs and traditions are rich source of knowledge. Many communities are in fact a storehouse of knowledge. Take for instance, in oral literary forms, we have recitations. In entertainment, we have festivals, rites of passage such as marriage. We have local wrestling. Then in visual arts and crafts, we have cloth weaving, dyeing of adire, braid making, and of course we have our local delicacies. And what we mean by our local delicacies? We mean our local foods and drinks. In the northern part of the country, we have a drink that we call kunu. We also have zobo. Then in Cross River or Akwa Ibom states, we have food. They have this particular food that they call ekpankoko. These are part of our social customs and tradition. Now, let us attempt our last activity for today, which is what are the causes of the destruction of knowledge, or should we say indigenous knowledge base? Can you think of any cause? Oh, first, one of the causes is urbanization, or should we say deforestation, though the two mean different things. Urbanization is when a particular place is being developed, has all social amenities such as good roads, good medical care, electricity, you name it. Then deforestation, due to urbanization, development comes up, all the trees are being cut down. That is what we refer to as deforestation. This is a cause of destruction of indigenous knowledge. When all the trees that have the herbs that we use are being cut down, then there is a problem. Another cause of destruction of indigenous knowledge base is the younger generation seem not to be interested in indigenous knowledge. They are turning away from their elders and thereby breaking that tradition of orally communicated knowledge. Then another cause is the validity of indigenous knowledge. Its validity is being questioned. How valid, how authentic is that indigenous knowledge? Is another cause of destruction. When something is being questioned, then there's a problem. We have been able to list and explain the sources, or should I say some of the sources of indigenous knowledge, and I expect that from the class activity you will be able to list more sources of indigenous knowledge. We are able to identify some causes of destruction of the indigenous knowledge base, and as information professional we should look into this problem. How do we tackle this problem? How do we tackle this issue? How do we tackle this challenge of destruction of our indigenous knowledge base? Something needs to be done. because our indigenous knowledge needs to still be existing. Should you still have more questions on this topic, sources of indigenous knowledge management and causes of its destruction, please, you can send me an email using the email address on the screen, vilaku@now.edu.ng. And remember, you have to send your class activity, your answer to the second class activity, to this email too. For now, please take care and bye.